Hi everyone, change the scenery today. I'm in the city catching up with Tom from my programming mentoring group. So I'm gonna catch up with him, have a DMC, see what he's been up to. He's a pretty cool guy, loves what he does, and honestly, stay tuned for this video because he's pretty good at what he does. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm here with Tom. He's one of my mentoring mates that we code together. So we're here to talk about struggle. Yeah, tell me all about your struggles, man.
Yeah, which one?
So I guess what you struggle with inside is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
What are your struggles in terms of? For me, like I can give you a list of things that are like I'm insecure about, for example.
Yeah.
That kind of affect who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Like for me, I might not be as good as I think I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, like the word struggle for me right now is kind of going through and going like, oh, is it really a struggle? But it's more or less like what gets on my mind a lot of the time. And something that was happening during the week, for example, was literally that I'm trying to build this new app calculator and we're about to launch it and I'm getting so excited and then I'm like, it's not good. It's not good enough. It needs to be better. I need to create a better experience for these end users, right?
Yeah.
So I'm being really harsh on myself in terms of like, what are you actually trying to achieve? And then I'm listening to videos and this person takes off like an overnight success and we constantly hear this in the media, but then you actually dig a little bit deeper into it and it's like, no, hang on, they failed for 6 years before they actually got anywhere and then they became an overnight success. So that was one, like, I'm so adamant that I want to achieve so much with my life that literally sometimes it's like when I'm not achieving anything, I'm feeling stuck and I really want to try and get through things.
So how do you get through it when you get stuck?
I literally look for resources and ways to find people that have gone through this in the past and how they went through it and whether to know, hey, is it me? Am I the problem here? Like, am I the reason why this is an actual issue and it's not really an issue? Like, is this a real issue? Or is this just a fake issue that I'm just making up in my head and there's something else that's happening there?
Because I feel the same at times. Like, sometimes I'm like, success is so easy, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And it plays on my mind 24/7.
In what way?
Like, it makes me feel like I'm not worthy of success sometimes because you keep hitting that wall, you're trying to break. Yeah. You get to that point and you're just kind of over it. And sometimes I'm like, am I in the right field? Sometimes am I like, is it the right thing I'm doing? Maybe I need to talk to people about it. Maybe I've hit a wall. Like, what do I do? It's such a great topic because people are like, you shouldn't feel the way you should feel. You shouldn't express how you're feeling in terms of when you need help, in terms of how you need help, in terms of if you want to express yourself. People are like, you should basically be perfect, and success isn't easy, you know?
I think that really comes down into like our schooling. So you're seeing schooling these days, it's a little bit more flexible to this, but like especially our parents, they grew up in a world where literally if you failed, that was the devil. And you're seeing that in a lot of Asian cultures. Like if they fail, it's like the end. Like their parents get so upset. So being okay with that failure and being okay with, oh shit, failure isn't actually a bad thing. It's a lesson that you're about to learn and making sure that you do learn the lesson rather than going, oh, I failed and just wipe it off. It's like, actually, no, after school, after uni, after all the schooling, the only way you learn is through your failures. And your failures often teach you a lot more than success. So, and where you're touching on like what it means to be successful as well, I often find that like, you see again these overnight successful people, but as well like you're in the loop, you're in the day in day out, so you might be viewed as successful from the outside, but shit, like you've got so many things happening in your life behind the scenes that you don't in any way feel successful. Does that make sense? And it's kind of hard because it's like, at what point do you ever get successful? Because when you're inside the loop of like, I've got to do this, then this, then this, I've got to keep getting better. If you looked at yourself now compared to who you were when you were like 12 and what you were doing and who you were meeting and how you were interacting in the world, you would literally look at your 12-year-old self would look at you and be like, wow, that's a really cool guy. I really like that guy. Look how successful that guy is. And right now, you know, 10 years later, you're kind of sitting there going like, I'm not successful. Because you're now looking at a person 10 years in front.
I think the problem is we like to put a value on success. We always try to give it like a figure. Like success is, like, for example, some people success is money.
Yeah.
Like, it's an
end result. Yeah,
exactly. But it's not. It's an ongoing process. You're getting better at yourself.
Yeah.
Improving daily. Yeah. I think that's success. That is success in a way where you go out and become better for yourself every day.
I heard a really good thing, which was basically that you got three things to do each day, and if you can achieve those three things, no matter what those three things are, that's a successful life. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's like if you can just knock out your three every day, you're going to be successful eventually. In terms of what the world sees as successful, right now I'm trying to build a respite calculator, and the economy would market that success as like a financial gain. Does that make sense? But my view of success in that is to improve the health and sustainability of the food ecosystem from the farmer, delivery networks, and where you're purchasing it inside the food venues. That's my success. And shit, if I can improve the quality of food going through those systems, that's when I'm going to feel successful with it. Until then, I'm not going to feel successful. And when people are like, oh, you're not making any money with this app, oh, you're not doing this with this app, I'm like, I don't care, because you don't understand that I'm trying to improve like the quality of the food that we're eating and consuming in hospitality venues. I'm trying to improve that. That's the goal, that's the North Star. And I feel like we can always get trapped into like a continual amount of like hurdles along the way, and you've really got to try and go, okay, what is my North Star? Like, what am I actually trying to achieve? And if you were to ask somebody, like, what do you want? Like, if you could have anything, like, what do you want? A lot of people can't answer
they
that.
can't. It's impossible.
It's like, so then if you don't know what you want, like esoterically, like in your life, as your life as a whole, you only want, like, you start, like, if you haven't defined that, you start looking out into other ways. For example, you're starting to look into, I want the next pair of shoes, I want the next CD.
Materialistic.
You look at the material things, simply because they're the only things being sold to you. Like, I was chatting with my girlfriend about, like, the material things are being sold to you, but sustainability, the health of the planet, you know, the environment, sustainability, this is all degrading. At the wayside of all of our convenience of being able to go after these material things. And it's like, why can't that be as cool as material things? So that was one of the things that we were chatting about this week.
When you hit peak bottom during, because you can't always be happy, you can't always be, top level. So what puts you through that hurdle every time when you get to that point in life?
So I went through a big hiccup after I moved on. I used to own a cafe, and moving on from that, there was so many aspects, which I won't go into, but there was so many aspects to that cafe process of leaving that I needed to deal with, and I needed to understand, like, who am I as a person? And a lot of the time it came down to, like, am I wrong or are they wrong? And honestly, both parties are wrong in all situations. But it's kind of like going, okay, it's a bad situation, it finished, let's move forward, but how? When we move forward, what are the lessons that we can take so we don't make those same mistakes again? So that's number one, like, learn your lessons. And I spent 3 months going through that. The next one is like, okay, you've crashed, you're at rock bottom again, cool. What you need to do is you need to now go through and figure out, okay, what do I actually value? Not do I want, per se, but it's like, what do I value? For me, when I was in the cafe, my grandma died, and I couldn't be there right beside her bed in those final moments. I couldn't get out of that cafe. I was trapped, right? So I was like, okay, as my parents are getting older now, I want to be able to drop everything at a hat. Like I want to be able to drop everything and be right beside their side if they need me to. And man, if they needed me to be there for 2 months, I need to be able to be with them for 2 months and stay there and be able to do something. So it was like, okay, for anything that moving forward, I need to be able to have some form or some way of trying to be able to do that. Does that make sense? So it's like, that's a core value that I stood for. Another one was I wanted to go see the world and travel. Another one was at night times, I wanted the ability to be like, yo, a deal comes to me and is like, hey, can you jump on this video with me on my YouTube channel? I want the freedom to be able to do that and not have to go, oh, I got to do this, and it never gets done. So that was another one. There was so many things, like your health and your food, and I went through it all and kind of was like, what do I value and what don't I value? And I really tried to get to know me and who I was. And then from there, I kind of grouped all of those values together. I was like, okay, what type of jobs could achieve this? Like if I was to be able to be by my parents' bedside if they got sick or something, what kind of jobs would I have to do? So then I was like, oh, do you do drop shipping? Do you do online? Do you do marketing? I was like, look, whatever you're doing, you're usually doing a service or a product, but you're distant, you're not in a shop. So I was like, cool, brick and mortar, scrap that. So anytime someone comes with me with a brick and mortar, like an actual shop idea, I'm like, nah, that doesn't hit with my values. So I can say no very easily and be very confident in my no's or yeses simply because I know. So that was the next part, like really understand your core values. And I use them as like your pillars for making your choices moving forward. So it's kind of like, if I need to make a choice moving forward, what choice am I going to be able to make? Does that make sense? In terms of like, I've got like 5 ideas that I want to do. Which idea right now stems with all of my values? So that was that. And then it's basically like just trial and error. Like just go out, do anything. It's like you're in your 20s. In your 20s, it's your time to learn. It's your time to just go out. You can fail. No, not shine. Literally, I would view the 20s as it's just time to go through the shit of learning. And just trying to get to know who you are, get to know what you can do, what value you can provide, and just get to know the world as a whole. Does that make sense?
Afraid to grow,
like,
right?
There's people that are going to shine in their 20s, great, but that shouldn't be your goal. Like shit, you got so many more years to go ahead. The average multi-billionaire person only starts getting successful at 30. They only start the success at 30. They go through all these ups and downs before they get to 30, like before 30. So in your 20s, literally, I would be trying to fail, like what Mark Zuckerberg says, he's like, fail fast and fail often. Like, if you're not failing today, you haven't learned anything today. So that and be okay with it, like be okay with the struggle. So when you're coming back to the question, like how do you define, like what are you struggling with right now? That's where I'm like, what are the things that I'm really struggling with? One of them would be maybe time management. I'm really struggling with that, but how does that affect my mental health? One of them could be, for example, I was in a cafe and I'm with people every single day. I'm talk. I really enjoy that. I love being around people. But now I'm like, cool, let's do programming and marketing and let's do some service and consulting. Now I'm in front of my computer and I feel like I'm just chained to the computer all day.
Yeah, I feel the same.
So literally now it's like, okay, in order for me to keep the creativity flowing, to keep everything going, like in order for everything to keep getting there, how do I actually put myself into positions to pull myself out? For example, we go to this mentoring thing on a Saturday in Melbourne, and it's great. You just meet like-minded people in programming that are all willing to help, and now we've pretty much all just become mates. Like
we're pretty good friends now. We talk about everything. Yeah, do everything together basically every Saturday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So it's really cool in that regard, but also looking for other meetups and other groups with like-minded venues. The other one, actually, going back to where you were where you're talking about like when you hit rock bottom, it's if you've hit rock bottom and you're in a shit environment, basically you're a combination of the 5 people you hang around. And man, if you've got some 5 people that are just not nice people and you just want to get out of that environment, and that's such a difficult place to get out of, I'd highly recommend going and listening to people like Jim Quick or Tom Bailey or Tony Robbins and all these types of people that are talking about mental health and talking about growing as a person and who you want to be and understanding the core values, all these types of things. And they're showing you amazing people like David Goggin, and they introduce you to these great concepts that you can really grab hold of and grow as yourself. So you're surrounding yourself, you say your 5 people aren't good, well now try and go insular and look to those people online that you can kind of use as those ways out. Because I remember coming out like after I got rid of the cafe and being in like a rut, when I tried to come out, I literally was listening to it like a religion. I would go to the bathroom and be listening to like a YouTube video as I'm going off there, or walking to the car and just listening. And I still do it today because you can't be around these 5 people. You're never going to be able to find them. And if you want to choose them, go and find those people that you really value and you really like their flavor on life, for example. Understand what their core values, start learning those so you can take them on as your own. And then when you start taking them on as your own, you start drawing people into your life that agree with those new values that you're holding, and all of a sudden you'll get around 5 people that are the same type of values, and you're a combination of those 5 people, those new 5 people.
Like for me, I had to move countries to get out of that environment.
100%.
Growth, I had to get out of that comfort zone. I had to go explore. I didn't know anyone in Melbourne, and I'm so grateful for this co-mentoring, because hanging out with like-minded people is always a lot better than hanging out with people who have complete different views, have strong personalities, which are toxic to you sometimes. You just got to get out of that environment. Like in New Zealand, I wasn't happy. I was not happy at all. Like cultural background, I've got the Asian side to me. It wasn't easy. Everything had a everything was so scheduled. Everything was a no. It was never a yes. I couldn't grow. So I had to get out of that comfort zone. So here we are in Melbourne, and it's honestly been the best decision so far, is to come out and explore and literally tap into my inner demons, inner self. Try get inside and try resolve all the problems that I'm having inside. But it's not easy. It's not easy, never easy. It's got to do one step at a time.
The other thing is, and it's incredible. Like I got a friend, I was chatting to her last night, and literally she's going through all these personal struggles. But man, if you look at her on Instagram or on her website and stuff like that, you see perfection, and you just see this amazing, incredible person. But behind the scenes, she's struggling with her own inner demons, and that's what you guys don't understand. Like every single thing you see online usually these days, it's the best version of that person. Normally they've gone and done their hair and they've made sure they look, somewhat good. And it's like, you're seeing that best version of them. You're never seeing like the bad version. And man, I've done this. I got really angry with this. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna post my shitty photos. I'm like, hey guys, I'm just at the computer again. It's 11 o'clock. I've been struggling with this problem for 6 hours now. I hate this. Like, this is the worst, right?
It's okay to fail, man.
And people were like, hey Tom, like, I've been watching your photos. They're really dark. And you're happy. You're okay. Like, is everything going good? I'm like, dude, like, everybody goes through this exact same thing. Like, this is normal, but it's not normal to showcase it. And documenting your life and going through all those things, that was one of the things that I was really trying to get behind. Hence why I wanted to do this video.
Yeah, that's why I got him on the video, because he knows his stuff. He knows, he's really expressive in terms of expressing how he's done.
I've been through a lot of hiccups, a lot of struggles, as most people do. And what I've done during that course is kind of each time kind of re-understanding who I am. And when I was like young and I was bullied a lot and all that kind of stuff, I had to talk about it. It would like bottle into me. So recently, as I began understanding more how to control your emotions and understanding how to express your emotions and all those types of things. That's where I've now come into a point where I feel comfortable even talking about it. Like, I don't feel judged. But man, like if someone's going to judge you about what you've been through, that's not the right person to be around. And literally, if they're judging you like off the bat and you're trying to win their approval, it's not worth it. But they could be the coolest person in school, and it's like, great, they might be the coolest person in school, but for the next 6 years, they're the cool person. After that, they're a deadbeat. They're just a small fish in a big pond again. Like that school environment, you know, that's only one little pond, and they might be the big fish in that pond. But shit, after school, it's like you're now into that global pond, and they're just one little drop, and it doesn't make any difference. And when I learned that kind of stuff, I remember like I was bullied a lot and all that kind of stuff, and I removed myself from that environment, similar to what you did. I ended up getting a job doing like personal training on cruise ships, and I traveled to like London, and I went out of America as well at 19, and literally I just removed myself. And I remember being in that environment, just being like, oh my god, like outside of the school, outside of the classroom, I actually could do a lot more, and I could make a lot better friends, and no one would judge you. Like I came from a country town, and I had a bad reputation, so no matter what, you wouldn't be friends with me because I got a bad reputation. I'm just the uncool kid, you know. I'm the one that you bully. And it's funny these days, like I meet all those people from my school and they still bully me as though I was the kid.
Have they got far though in life in terms of where
some have gone up and down. I don't really follow them, but it's just really interesting their attitude towards me. But like you view me as successful, they, no matter what my success is, they'll always view me as the Tom Kirby that was at Leongatha Secondary College. Like they're just always going to view me as that guy. Yeah, exactly. And they're just going to put you in that box. And like, I don't care. They can put me in the box. That's not going to affect me. And I learned that very, very early because I had a lot of bullying early on. So getting outside of that and going, okay, whatever that person's judgment of you, that's got nothing to do with you, that's everything to do with them. And it just says a lot about their personality. If they want to judge you, it means they're probably insecure about themselves in that way.
Yeah, that's definitely true, yeah.
For example, you might be really good at sport, and then everybody picks on you for being really good at sport and all that kind of stuff.
Academically.
Yeah, or good academically. Yeah. The only reason why they're picking on you academically for being like this nerdy person is because they probably want to be a little bit, they want to be, they want to be a little bit more smarter, and they're not getting it, and you get it. And so the only way to make themselves feel better in some cases is to pick on you and make you feel bad. So it's these days it's kind of like being really self-aware, and I don't really struggle simply because I'm more curious as to, wow, like that person went out of their way to make me feel bad. Like I've done nothing. I actually tried to do something good. Like, for example, someone puts a bad comment on this video that we make, right? And it's like, they literally went out of their way to make a bad comment about a video that we're just talking about our struggles that we went through. You know, we're not trying to say anything bad. We're actually just trying to help. So you can kind of look at that person that makes that bad comment, and it's like, wow, they must be going through a lot in order for them to go out of their way to do that. And that's kind of how I view it these days. And it's more like I'm now fascinated. Like if someone's picking on me, I'm like, wow, I wonder why that person's picking on me. I wonder what they've gone through. And you start asking questions, and then they feel like valued, and then they're not gonna pick on you as much. But yeah, I don't know.
So 3 tips. Give me 3 tips of how you've come to where you are today.
Yeah, I think if we recap, it's literally like really understand like what you value and what you want, right? So what you value is like do I value being in front of the computer? Do I value going out and meeting people? Do I value having my family close by? Like what are the things I value? Then from there, figure out like a course of action. Like, okay, in order for me to fulfill those values every single day, what type of like job would actually, what would it look like in terms of that? And then literally I would just go out there and try and fail more and just learn and get that hindsight advice. Like I can give a lot of advice now because it's in hindsight.
Yeah, exactly.
And Another tip would probably be to just ask people about their hindsight advice. That's a fantastic way to get someone to open up, because it's such an open-ended question.
So, biggest quote for today, never feel afraid to fail, is that?
Biggest quote, I'm a massive one on quotes.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Give me your best quote, come on. You're always giving us quotes at the mentoring group.
Jeez. Plant seeds. Literally. That's my number one. Be a farmer and plant seeds. Basically, it's so cool. A farmer literally plants all of his seeds and nurtures them and looks after those seeds and allows them to grow and is able to access a future reward. You plant an apple tree now, it's going to continue. You're going to get the fruits of your labor down the track. So these days, I'm literally trying to plant as many seeds as possible, whether it be helping people or whether it be giving something out or in any way, just try and plant seeds. So then down the track, you might help someone in one way and then they're going to want to help you in another way. But don't expect anything in return and just keep planting those seeds. Eventually you're going to have this amazing garden around you that's always going to keep giving and help. Yeah, farmer. I want a t-shirt that says farmer. I love
Anything else you'd like to say?
No. I love it.
Right.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, he's on YouTube as well. So what is your YouTube? Tell them your handle, man.
So I've got Tom Curfew and Recipe Revenue.
And
right
Instagram
now.
as well. Yeah. Instagram as well. Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, thanks guys. If you can follow on Instagram, or I've got a new startup called Recipe Revenue. It's all under Tom Curfew or Recipe Revenue. Yeah.
And if you guys want to watch more videos like this, follow, subscribe, comment, like, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.